Week 13, lesson 7. Okay, so this worksheet is going to count as both the notes and the worksheet that you need to complete and submit. So you will have to have all the problems done when you submit it. All right, so I'm obviously not going to do the whole thing for you, but I'm going to start with number 1. Okay, so number 1 is asking you to graph this parabola and then figure out where there's going to be shading, all right? And you know that there's going to be shading because of this inequality symbol, all right? It's either going to be inside the parabola or outside the parabola. Also, don't forget, this is kind of important, you have to decide whether it's going to be dotted or solid line. All right, so let's start with just the parabola itself. Okay, the parabola has a y-intercept of 3 because of that. Okay, the axis of symmetry is negative b over 2a, or in this case, 4 over 2, so it's at 2. Once I know that point, then I automatically know that point. I know if I go left and right 2, I go up and down 4, so there's my vertex. I also remember over 1, up 1, so there's where my parabola goes. All right, so then this one is going to have a dotted line because there's no equal sign involved. So here's my dotted line. And then we're going to pick a point to test and shade. I love the origin, which I'm allowed to pick as long as it's not on my parabola, which it's not. Okay, so if I go, let me erase some stuff that's sort of, oh, it won't let me. Interesting. I want to erase some other stuff and it doesn't want me to, which is, oh, maybe there we go. Okay, so I'm going to put in 0 and 0 to test. So if I put zeros in for x's and y's, I get 0 is less than 0 minus 0 plus 3, which is true, right? That simplifies to be 0 is less than 3. So the shading goes on the same side, right? Because this point that I tested came out to be true. You shade where it's true. So I'm shading on the outside of this parabola. Okay, let's try another one. Okay, so I'm going to do number 3. Now number 3, I gave you the picture. Okay, so take a look. This is a parabola that you can see right here. It is dotted. Okay, it's dotted because this doesn't have an equal sign on it. All right, I'm assuming that we tested 0, 0 and it came out to be true, right? And that's why the shading's on the inside. Now, for this problem, I want you to take this knowledge, right? What you know here, and change it from being in 2 dimensions, I'm sorry about that, 2 dimensions into 1 dimension, okay? So really, the easiest way that I can think of to explain this is that this, hold on, I need a highlighter. This axis right here, this x-axis, is in actuality that line. Okay, so if you're just focusing all your attention on that axis, you can see that there's an open circle at -2 right here. There's an open circle at +2 right there. And there's shading in between because of this shading in between. Okay, that's what this is asking you to do. It's taking your knowledge of a parabola and transposing it into your knowledge of a number line. All right, so the last example I think that I'm going to do is number 7. Okay, so this one's asking you to do this thing algebraically. Okay, so algebraically, if I was going to solve this, right, if I knew that there was going to be an equal sign, I would factor this, right? I know that this factors to be x minus 4 and x plus 3. So then, I know on this number line down here that something important is happening both at -3 and at +4, because that's what makes these equal 0. All right, I know because this doesn't have an equal sign that these are going to be open circles. Okay, now the question just simply is, where do I shade? Okay, do not, okay, and if you get anything out of this video at all, and if I have to scream it, I will. Do not shade based on where this stupid sign is pointing. Okay, that stupid sign is not going to tell you where to shade. Okay, plugging in a number will tell you where to shade. Okay, what I mean is we're gonna have to do some testing here. Okay, I'm gonna test a number over in this region, maybe, I don't know, -4. I'm gonna test something in between here, maybe 0. And I'm gonna test something over here, maybe 5. Okay, you can pick any number you want. I just need to know which of these 1, 2, or 3 regions is true. So let me plug in -4. 0 is greater. Now if I put -4 in here, I get -8. If I put -4 in here, I get -1. Is 0 greater than 8? It is not. So there is no shading in this region. So let me get rid of some stuff. Let me get rid of this because I know there's no shading over here. Okay, next, let me get rid of some other stuff. Let me erase all of this. And let's see if I can make this look just a little better. X minus 4. Okay, next, let's plug in 0. Okay, we're going to plug in 0 next. So is 0 greater than 0 minus 4 and 0 plus 3? Or is 0 greater than -12? Well, yes it is. 0 is greater than -12. Let me get rid of this. So since the number that I tested is true, I'm going to have some shading in here. Come on. Shading, 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 shading. Okay, next, let me erase some of this stuff again. Let me try 5. So if I try 5, 0 is greater than 5 minus 1 is, 5 minus 4 is 1, and 5 plus 3 is 8. Is 0 greater than 8? It is not. So there is no shading here, right? No shading here because it did not come out to be true.